Season 1 continues as we're on the road to King of the Ring. We have some King of the Ring matches tonight. We'll start the show off explaining that. But first, we have to have a dark match. That's Amber O'Neal teams up with Rain to take on tag team of Latina America, who, despite being in an absolute rut, having no momentum, finally pick up a good win, or at least a dark show win, when Zelina Vega defeated Rain by pinfall with a moonsault. Amber O'Neal was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's performance, because she's kind of at the tail end of her career, and what can you do? No worker improvements, but let's go on to the main show. So, to begin the show, we're running down the King of the Ring matches we're going to see tonight. The first matchup is going to be John Morrison taking on Doug Williams. Bray Wyatt takes on Evan Bourne. CM Punk goes one-on-one with Kevin Steen, and the U.S. champion, The Big Show, goes one-on-one with Sami Zayn. So both members of Insane kind of facing some kind of match tonight. But yeah, those are the King of the Ring matches we're going to be seeing tonight. And in our first match, in an 83B+, John Morrison defeated Doug Williams in 1742 with a Starship Pain. Doug Williams was tiring at the end, the veteran. He can only go so far, but John Morrison, the longer the match goes, kind of the more to his benefit, and he proves that point with the Starship Pain. He goes forward in King of the Ring. And we have a cooldown match as AJ Lee takes on the Coven's Kaylee Von Scarlett, which, despite a distraction from Madison Lane, one of the wrestlers who she's going to be facing at Hell in a Cell, she picks up the win. Kaylee Von Scarlett, great competitor, but not great enough to beat AJ Lee, who gets the win with the Shining Wizard in 7:57. And as we cut, we see Daniel Bryan standing with Evan Bourne. And then Daniel Bryan talks about how he himself is also in the King of the Ring tournament. But he knows the danger that Bray Wyatt can place. So that's why he's going to be accompanying Evan Bourne to the ring. And he manages to prove to Bray Wyatt that people like Evan Bourne, wrestlers like Evan Bourne and Daniel Bryan, will always be more powerful than these weird creatures that Bray Wyatt pretends to be. That match is up next. And in a 90A, despite Daniel Bryan being at present, Luke Harper eventually sneaks by, gets in, attacks Evan Bourne, which manages to hit the Sister Abigail. Bray Wyatt defeating Evan Bourne in a 90A match. So Bray Wyatt also moves on in King of the Ring. Evan Bourne definitely put in the work, he definitely put in the time, and you can definitely say that, Daniel Bryan is kind of right in the sense that these are not the quick victories that Bray Wyatt usually likes to get, but, Bray Wyatt's still showing that, the spooky nature of the Wyatt family coming over Daniel Bryan's pure wrestling mentality. Maybe Daniel Bryan has to go somewhere deeper. Maybe Daniel Bryan just needs to get in the ring and kick Bray Wyatt's head off again. We'll see as more comes on. And now it's time for the big one. So Triple H, Stephanie, The Miz, The Dynasty, as they're officially been called, make their way. They're in the ring as we cut back to commercial. Triple H begins by saying congratulations to SmackDown, the C Show, for drawing 30,000 fans. And, of course, piggybacking off the success of WWE's new CEO. But SmackDown will be dealt with when it comes time to deal with that. But before going into the elephant of the room, Kofi chants start popping up and down. Triple H wants to announce the biggest move WWE has ever done in the history of the company. And that is the official launch of the WWE Network. So, no more pay-per-views. It's going to be, we're bringing the network in now. Triple H has this vision. He talks about, it's the network. Basically how they announce the network in real life. But on WWE, Michael Cole will now only say the words $9.95. So, also, I should point this out. So, I put on Reddit a question, because I was worried with Raw, with the network being subscription, that I wouldn't cover a lot of the costs of the show. So what I thought to do was, I'll make it pay-per-view, and then I'll make it a subscription, and I'll compare the two, how that works in the editor. You can't edit that in the editor, so now the network is just pay-per-view. I know it's suspension of disbelief, but let's just pretend that it's subscription-based, typical wrestling botches TEW, that's, common occurrence, but we'll move with that. But let's forget about that now, as Triple H looks right into the camera, and he says, Kofi Kingston, people like Kofi Kingston, are just like some of these fans that just don't get what the Dynasty is about. They think it's only about control, about hindering talent. It's about keeping, me and Steph and The Miz at large. But that's not the case. It's not about us. You can't really control WWE. It's sports entertainment or pro wrestling. It's a system built on chaos. It just doesn't make sense. The only control Triple H wants is the championship, the figurehead spot, the place where The Miz is right now. Before he was put into a coma by John Cena, Vince McMahon was right when he said WWE can no longer have the option to just have one figurehead. John Cena is the perfect foil to The Miz. Triple H manipulated lots of events to get John Cena to where he is. Now, when he saw what John Cena was doing, he didn't have a hand in making John Cena this monster. But, how did he get a SmackDown contract? That was Triple H. He knew the whole time. Why? Because he's the perfect foil to The Miz. And maybe in a year's time, they will meet in battle, but this time Raw will prevail. The Miz will show the world that this creation, this idea of what The Miz used to be is dead. Because The Miz used to be a cocky loudmouth that would always fail when the time came. But under the influence of the game, Triple H has molded The Miz into a key player. That thing he did on Raw 2 weeks ago where he told Kofi how much the respect and how much he wanted that match, that wasn't just bravado. That was what Triple H has been doing. In true time, the key will be a true superstar, a true wrestler, a true icon of the WWE. Then The Miz takes the microphone, and he says, "Now, King of the Ring, I know Kofi Kingston wants his rematch. Kofi Kingston will get his championship rematch. And to make it sweeter, no member of the Dynasty will be at ringside, or they interfere." And Triple H and Stephanie, they nod their head, they agree. "I want to fight Kofi one-on-one, but he has to put up a bargain as well. A bargain of his own. When he loses this match, Kofi Kingston cannot challenge for this or any WWE title until we, the Dynasty, see fit. I'm willing to put it all on the line, Kofi. You usually say your game about that, but what about now?" And he drops the mic. Still kind of cocky edge to him, but it's official. If Kofi Kingston accepts, he gets a title match at King of the Ring. But if he loses, no more championships, no more chances. So the Dynasty, the ball is in Kofi's court. We'll have to see if he accepts that. And in the 93A match, the Shield are hyping up Seth and Jericho's King of the Ring match next week, a part of the first segment of the King of the Ring. Dean Ambrose, he pretty much just puts the Shield over, basic Shield promo, but it's not the basic one where it's like the camera. They just happen to be backstage, and Randy Orton enters the scene, and he interrupts saying, "Gentlemen, I understand. I love beating up Chris Jericho. I did it for like 6 fucking months, but I wanted to know if you've seen Brock Lesnar. There's some unfinished business we have." And like Dean and Seth and Roman are like, "Dude, we don't know where Brock is, dude. Like, fuck off, get out of here." And Randy's like, "Well, if you see him, let me know. And if you don't tell me and I find out you're gonna get RKO'd." And he just walks away, and Dean's like, "That was really fucking weird." And so there goes that segment. And in 87B, we have 2 great teams teaming up together. We have Pride and Honor. Ricky Steamboat, the son of Richie Steamboat, son of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Jay Lethal, 2 great competitors taking on Kings of Wrestling. But, of course, the more experienced Kings of Wrestling, the former WWE Tag Team Champions, defeat Pride and Honor in 10-16 when Chris Hero defeated Richie Steamboat by pinfall with a hangman's elbow. And in one of our more interesting King of the Ring qualifiers, the Big Show, the heavy hitter, defeats Sami Zayn in 1826 by pinfall with a knockout punch, following interference from Kane. So it looks like the whole shenanigans with the Dynasty are going on. But also during the match, the Tokyo Pimp, Yujiro Takahashi, the former United States champion, reared his head in again, and Big Show and Sami Zayn apparently didn't click. So all things considered, I guess kind of I knew this match wouldn't do too good just because of the Big Show's age, but it's important for the story. So the U.S. champion Big Show moves on in the King of the Ring. Next, we have, after that segment, we have Chris Hero and Antonio Cesaro. They run into the tag champions, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Kings of Wrestling. Immediately, they're like, hey, we never fought you. You guys suck. Why don't we have a tag team title match? Motor City Machine Guns they're doing like the thinking, like, you know, putting the fingers on the chin. They just go, nah, and they start laughing. Behind them is the Sheriff of Raw, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Again, clearly not in a good mood considering all the bullshit that's been happening. And he just is like, you know what? I like how the Kings of Wrestling think. That's the first time I've said that. But I do like that kind of thinking. I'll tell you what. I'll think about that, boys. So, you know, Sabin, Shelley, why don't you watch what you're doing? Or something. I'm Stone Cold. And he probably flips him off or something. But he's probably too focused on what Triple H and Stephanie are ruining his fucking show. And in the 80B, we have a young up-and-coming talent of Matt Jackson takes on Wade Barrett. And, you know, Matt Jackson, you know, he was the NXT finalist. He won the NXT, the game show that they had down in FCW. And he puts in a good effort, but he's just no match for Wade Barrett, who hits the wasteland to put Matt Jackson away in about 6 minutes. Next, we have the Big Show. He's backstage. He has a microphone. He's just talking to the camera, and he just starts ranting about Yujiro Takahashi. He keeps telling him to move on. The U.S. title is his now. It's the Dynasties. You know, just the Miz obviously is the center point, and the Big Show understands that. Although he looks kind of pissed that it's not him. He tells Yujiro Takahashi that just move on, do something else. There's a lot of things. You're a great athlete, but you're not ready for this level of exposure. You're not on my level, literally and physically and metaphorically. Just go away, Yujiro. Just go. Get out of here, you fucking idiot. Just basically Big Show just yelling. It's like 6 minutes of the Big Show yelling. You can't go wrong with that. 99 star. What are you going to do? And in the 94A, in the last segment of... with John Morrison on commentary, apparently doing a good job with Jim Ross, which is funny. CM Punk takes on Kevin Steen, and CM Punk, of course, picks up the win. Kevin Steen is Kevin Steen, and he puts in a great effort. But CM Punk, of course, gets the win with a roundhouse kick GTS in 2034. CM Punk moves on to the King of the Ring. And right now, I believe I will put up a screenshot of that nice little spreadsheet to show who has moved on to King of the Ring and who those matches will go on, as you can see on the screen right now. But it's time, I believe, lastly, for the last segment of the show. Kofi Kingston makes his way to the ring. No music. Just Kofi walks out. He gets in the ring and he ushers for a microphone. Picks it up, looks into the camera, and he only says one word. Yes. Drops the mic and rolls right back out and goes right back to the ring. Kofi Kingston is done playing games with the Dynasty. He's willing to put it all on the line against The Miz, and we'll have to see how that goes as we end Monday Night Raw. And a 94A. Really good. I like that. Really good Raw as we're building the King of the Ring. First time, I think... No, I booked King of the Ring in, like, personal saves before, but, like, booking this King of the Ring with this kind of, like, fluidness. I'm not writing shit down. I also didn't book it in the first year of the save. But I'm excited to do that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next SmackDown.